Hey, Coach. In April, Lillard struggled statistically as one of the worst months of his career, and then things kind of flipped. He turned it around. Could you notice a change in him in terms of his physical ability going from being really banged up to being healthier?
Yeah, I think it was pretty noticeable. He looked like he had more bounce. He took those 3 games off. I think that helped him, but I do think it was noticeably different.
Do you feel like he's as healthy and primed for a playoff run as maybe he's ever been right now?
I don't know. That's hard to say. I'd have to go back 8 years, so he is healthy. He's been healthy in other series, but I think you'd have to ask him. I'm sure you did.
Thanks.
Dwight James, NBC Sports Northwest.
Terry, you get Norman Powell at the trade deadline, and then shortly after, a decision is made to go with the 3 guards in the starting lineup. Could you tell us maybe what goes into a decision like that seems at the time like a fairly major decision, and then explain how it's worked out for you and the benefits of it?
Well, the decision, he was coming in as a starter. That was an easy decision. The first game he played was Orlando, and Dame didn't play that game. But ever since then, I think the plan was for him to be a starter. So that really wasn't that difficult. The way it's played out from day one, that group of Dame, CJ, and Norman has consistently been a positive, productive threesome. So to continue along that way was really not that difficult either.
What has made it so successful, Terry? Is it spreading the floor, 3-point shooting, defense? What's going on with that? I
think it's a little bit of everything. I look at net rating, and my biggest concern is, is it a net positive? But I think defensively it's been solid. It also, frankly, it coincided with Nurk coming back. So I think it's difficult to separate all of that because we got Norman and Nurk back at the same time. So, and they all play together. I think that has to be part of it as well. But I think we've been a slightly better offensive team. We're already a top 5 team, but defensively is adding him and Nurk is kind of what tipped the scales.
Jamie Hudson, NBC Sports Northwest.
Coach, we've talked a lot about Nurk obviously playing in this series, but now you have the luxury of Enes Kanter coming off the bench. Just thinking back to 2019 and what Enes was able to give you guys, can you put into words what his series was, and now thinking that, okay, he's going to be coming off the bench for us, what that'll be like?
Well, it is to have a player like Enes coming off your bench is pretty big time. I mean, what he's done this year, averaging a double-double, filling in for Nurk, he's shown what a valuable player he is to the team, both as a starter and coming off the bench. With Jokic, I think there's obviously a comfort level, the fact that 2 years ago, Enes, I don't know how many minutes he averaged. I think it was over 30, but he played a significant role in helping to win that series. So the fact that we have both Nurk and Enes against a great player like Jokic, because the ball is in his hands so much, it's going to take 2 guys to be able to handle that.
James Hill, PNC Sports.
Hey, Coach, the Portland-Denver series looks to be a long series, a competitive series. Could you talk about just the Blazers' mindset going in from a coaching perspective? And again, fans are really excited about the series.
No, I think it's going to be a good series. Our games this year have been competitive. The fact that we played each other 2 years ago in the second round adds a little bit more to it. I think most people have it kind of as a toss-up. So it should be pretty competitive, and I think for all those reasons.
Chris Saltis, Sport DNA.
You're doing well. How useful is that week for your team? Because you have day off, you have practices. How you prepare your team physically and mentally as well?
Well, this is new for everybody to have this much time off before the playoffs. Ordinarily, we'd be playing our last game of the regular season, I think, on a Wednesday, and then start the playoffs. So this is unusual for everybody to have this much time off, other than the teams that are in the play-in. So we're trying to spread things around, keep them physically active and sharp, but at the same time do our preparation with video and on court. So it's the biggest thing is how we present the information, and the fact we have more time to do it makes it a little bit easier.
Aaron Fentress with the Oregonian.
Coach, when Damian came into the league, I think you guys were averaging about 23s per game, something like that. Now it's 41 or close to 40. League average is up to 35. Where's this going to end, do you think? Or is there a cap on this? Could it be someday we're seeing teams shooting 50 a game, 55 a game?
Well, there's only 85 to 90 shots a game. So that's the obvious cap. I don't know. It's I think you'll continue to see the league average rise. I don't know about teams like us and Utah averaging in the 40s. I don't know if it can get to 50 or not, but honestly, I didn't think it would get to 40. So who knows?
Does it seem more likely that what will increase, though, is the range each individual players will have? Because you got to think that kids are growing up trying to shoot 35, 38 footers because they're watching Steph Curry and Damian Lillard do that. Do you think that's going to happen?
The range certainly has improved and affected, but I still think it's the fact that so many players on the court can shoot threes. It's not about, there are the exceptions like Dame and Steph that really have the range, but you see so many more players playing today that can shoot three, that shoot 34, 35, 36. You know, they're not great three-point shooters, but 35% is a good three-point shooter, and there are just more of those guys on the court throughout the game.
Thanks.
Jamie Hudson, NBC Sports Northwest.
Coach, mentioning luxuries of having people come off the bench, obviously Melo this season, and then thinking about the bubble and his fourth quarter play. Can you just explain all the different variables that go into having a guy like Melo coming off the bench for you going into the postseason?
Well, especially going into the postseason, but Melo has experienced everything in his career. He maintains a certain level, doesn't get too high or too low because of that, and you need that kind of confident attitude going into the playoffs and throughout the playoffs. So, what he's done for us in a year and a half has been what we needed. And this year, the role that he's had off the bench has been a big part of the reason why we are where we are.